is Encore.
Cool.
The stories behind the songs.
Thank you.
Here's iHeartRadio's Miles Galloway.
How you doing, young lady? This podcast that I'm giving is going to drive you crazy. Hi, I'm Miles Galloway, and this is the story of Nelly Furtado's Promiscuous. Since the turn of the millennium, Nelly Furtado has been cementing her legacy as one of Canada's most successful pop stars. The Victoria, BC native went from unknown newcomer to overnight sensation in 2000 with the release of her debut single, I'm Like a Bird. That song won her a Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance over heavyweights like Janet Jackson and Sade. At a time when music was obsessed with teen pop, nu metal, and hip-hop, Nelly emerged with a genre-hopping sound that felt very much her own. She struck gold with her debut album, Whoa Nelly, which spawned 2 hit singles, I'm Like a Bird, and the other one, Turn Off the Light. The album demonstrated Nelly's unique ability to float from one style to another, channeling folk, Latin, trip-hop, and a contemporary pop sound that established her almost immediately on radio and music television. Nelly told Hussein Madavji in 2006,
I had been really influenced by Beck and Corner Shop, this band from the UK that mixed their Indian heritage with pop music. And I thought, hey, why don't I mix my Portuguese heritage with pop music and throw some Brazilian stuff in there? And that was the whole concept behind Whoa Nelly, my first album.
Under the guidance of production team Track and Field, which consisted of her mentor Gerald Eaton and his musical partner Brian West, better known as members of Toronto band The Philosopher Kings, Nelly found the support she needed to blossom as an artist. She was ready for superstardom. For her second album, 2003's Folklore, yes, Nelly beat Taylor Swift to the title 17 years prior. Nelly chose to take a more focused path for her music, crediting her pregnancy at the time as the reason for its mellower direction. Nelly wanted to create a modern folk record. We focused a little more on the songwriting than on the frenetically switching genre 5 times in one song, the way we did it on the last record, she told Interview magazine. Folklore featured a variety of instruments like the banjo, the Portuguese ukulele, and the dulcimer, as well as Força, which Nelly sung in her parents' native Portuguese. That song even gained a ton of exposure when it was chosen as the official theme of Euro 2004. Held in Portugal. Sadly, they lost to Greece in the final. But in the end, the album proved to be both a critical and commercial disappointment. Well, with the exception of Germany, that is, Folklore reached the top 5 in Deutschland, which even puzzled Nelly. Why do Germans love this album? She said to CBC in an interview. Nelly knew that Folklore was worth the gamble in the end, despite the response to it paling in comparison to Whoa Nelly's success.
You're always better off at the end of the day, because no matter if people love it or hate it, you'll know that it was what you wanted to do. The extreme opposite would be is you were trying to conform to what you thought people wanted.
Right.
And then everyone hates it. And then you blame yourself because it wasn't really what you intended. Yeah.
I see it.
But before she could attempt to bounce back, Nelly was dealt a blow when her label DreamWorks was sold to Universal Music and her record deal was absorbed by Geffen. This meant she'd be working with a new team that would be assigned to her. Luckily, Nelly already had a vision for her next release. Nelly wanted to make something that was smooth but sexy, universal, epic, iconic, she told Fader in 2016. Madonna's massive comeback album, Ray of Light, was her main inspiration and the template she began working from. Before she even had a note of music recorded, she had the title for her third album, which she conceived out of the blue years prior. She told Hussein Madavji,
This is a term that it's kind of funny. I usually have these visions way before stuff happens in my life. And about 5 years ago, I remember thinking, I want my third album to be called Loose. And I could picture the cover and I could picture the concept. And really, it was just going to be me kind of laying back and expressing more of the hip-hop side that I usually just show on collaborations. Like I've worked with The Roots, Jurassic 5, Missy Elliott again, as well as members, different hip-hop groups. And I always had fun doing those collabos, but I never included that sound, per se, on my own records. My plastic records are more pristine pop sound.
Right.
And this album is more rough around the edges. It almost has when I say rock, I don't mean tons of guitars and whatever. I just mean it has an edge to it and off-the-cuffness. It's loud, extremely loud. It has some wrong notes. Some of the bass is kind of distorted. My vocals, some of the lyrics I wrote in 5 seconds. Some I spent more time writing. But it's not the point. The point, it has this amazing feel that's very casual, natural, and It's almost like reality TV. When you watch reality TV and it's exciting to see things happen spontaneously, we've included those things on the album. So there's skits where you hear us talking while we're making the record.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Yeah.
In the record.
Yeah, so it's a whole concept.
The first step for Nelly was to decide on who to work with. Having worked closely with producers Track and Field on her first 2 albums, she began there, but quickly realized it was time for a change, especially knowing she wanted to flirt with hip-hop.
I like to show people different sides of me. Like, in the future, I want to do a jazz record. I want to do a really folky acoustic record. I like to keep exploring. I thought it was time. I thought people wanted to hear that from me, wanted to hear that louder sort of urban sound from me, and I'm kind of giving the fans that this time around.
Nelly went into the studio with Canadian acts like Jellystone, Swollen Members, and Kanan to source out a vibe. Jumped across the pond to London to work with Nelly Hooper, another Nelly, then to Los Angeles with Lester Mendez. It wasn't until Nelly reached Miami, though, that things started to come together. She recorded some demos with in-demand guys like Pharrell Williams and Scott Storch, but none of them would end up on her record. During a meeting with Interscope president Jimmy Iovine, Nelly was referred to work with Timbaland, who was riding high from his recent success with Justin Timberlake. Nelly first met Timbaland in 2000 when she jumped on a remix of Missy Elliott's Get Your Freak On, which the famed hip-hop producer worked on. That remix earned Nelly some street cred from hip-hop fans that weren't aware of I'm Like a Bird. Timbaland later repaid the favor by remixing Nelly's Turn Off the Light, so a rapport was already in the works when the two decided to meet in Miami. On the set of the Promiscuous video, Timbaland told Much Music's Sarah Taylor why he wanted to work with Nelly Furtado.
What is it about Nelly that you wanted to work with her?
Because she's an artist. She has a lot of beliefs, just like she's a strong female. She got a lot of belief, and she's very talented. And I always wanted like somebody like that on my label, you know. She's just a strong female to me.
Nelly met up with Timbaland and his prodigy Danger Hands at the Hit Factory, and they got to work right away. That's what my fiance calls me in the kitchen, Danger Hands. It didn't take long for things to heat up in the studio, though. No, quite literally. They were making fire from day one.
The first day in the studio, you think I'm lying, but I'm not. We were jamming on this song. It's a track that became Man Eater is what it's called. And the volume was so loud that we started to smell smoke. We're like, what is that? And we looked and smoke shot out of the speaker and a flame shot out.
So the track was too hot?
Yes. We were all jamming so hard. You know when you're at a live show and it's crazy energy? Like that, but in the studio, it was hot.
As things got hot in there, oh no, different Nelly and Timbaland were busy building their chemistry. One thing Nelly knew she had to nail down, though, was her groove as a dancer. She got some help from her Miami friends and a choreographer who taught her how to, quote, shake my booty properly. She told MTV News, it's an important skill. There's a craft to it. You can be one of those girls who think they can do it. Oh yeah, I'm going to shake my booty. But if you're with Timbaland in the studio, no. Nelly and Timbaland also experimented with quick ideas, jamming a lot, and making what she called weird alien sounds. Taking inspiration from current rock bands they were listening to, like Block Party, Death from Above 1979, and System of a Down, to classic artists such as Blondie, Talking Heads, Madonna, and Prince, they wanted the record to be loud, distorted, and off the cuff, she told Rolling Stone. The album began to take shape from its preordained title. She told Much Music's Sarah Taylor.
Loose. It's more a musical thing. Loose is like conceptually, this album is void of concept, which kind of gives it its flavor. There are like skits of me laughing and talking in between the songs. There's some out of tune notes. There's some questionable lyrics. There's some rawness to the sound. It's very loud. It doesn't have a traditional pop sound. It's not as clean sounding as some pop music. Particularly my first 2 albums. I love them. Very pristine sounding. The new album is more raw. Volume-wise, very loud, very fun, very dancey. A lot of hip-hop and R&B, which my previous records kind of didn't delve into in such a literal fashion. This new record is very literal with the hip-hop and the R&B references. It's something I grew up on from when I was, 10 or 11 years old, started listening to exclusively R&B pop.
The Hit Factory became the place to be in Miami, so much so that none of them felt the need to go out and take in the city's vibrant nightlife. They had all they needed where they were. In her label bio, Nelly said there was no need to hit the clubs because the party was in the studio. Timbaland is one of those magnetic, larger-life personalities. He lives like a rock star. Producers really are the new rock stars. They have the huge mansions. They drive a different fancy car to the studio every day. They've got beautiful women around. People show up with briefcases full of cash and say, "Give me a beat." It was a really exciting environment to be part of. Visitors were coming in and out of the studio. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin, who Nelly befriended years before, shared a mutual admiration with Timbaland, who was obsessed with Coldplay's X and Y album. After hanging out and jamming on some tunes, Martin unexpectedly came up with the title All Good Things Come to an End when he expressed his disappointment in having to leave. Although his label wouldn't sign off on him singing along with Nelly, he did receive a co-writer credit for the song. Regular collaborator Justin Timberlake also joined them in the Hit Factory to record a song for Nelly's album called Crowd Control, but that song never made the cut. Sorry, JT. Still, he did appear in the music video for Promiscuous. More on that later. And although she wasn't credited as a collaborator, Nelly's daughter Nevis was keeping her mum on her feet and giving the music a boost of energy.
The album has this youthful energy to it, and I think part of the reason is because I'm around this 2-year-old every day who's so alive, So I feel that liveliness too, and it just feels good.
As the album was taking shape, Nelly began to see she was changing as an artist.
I feel good about it. I feel like it's a reveal, another side of myself. Because I think, again, with fans and everything, it's nice to kind of show different sides of yourself as an artist. And this is just one side, and I do have a sensual side.
The whole world was about to see a new side to Nelly Furtado, and she was ready to show it off.
My first single is called Promiscuous, and it's a club track. It's a very unapologetic, sexy club song.
It's very hot, by the way. I gotta say.
And I'm rapping on it, And it's at first I was like, I don't know if I could do it. And
released in April 2006, the first single from Nelly Furtado's third album, Loose, introduced a new era for the 27-year-old singer. Appearing on Much Music's MOD, Nelly excitedly announced her rebirth.
It's a sexier album, but I'm 27 years old. I'm a woman. I can work it.
Can you teach me how to work it?
Before he brought Sexy back with Justin Timberlake later in the year, Timbaland established it with Nelly Furtado and Promiscuous. The sultry duet finds the two countering each other with flirtatious chat-up lines over a mischievous beat.
We always had a chemistry. And this time it really brought it all out. By us working together, she listened to me, she takes direction. I'm my own person to listen to. So it's a great thing. If I tell her to go this way, she'll go this way. She's not scared to take no steps. So it's a great marriage.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that she's not afraid to take direction from you?
Because it's we learn to trust one another. You know what I'm saying? I listen to her side of a story. She listens to my side of a story. And it's called building, a friendship and a relationship. It's like a girlfriend and boyfriend, I guess.
At first, Nelly wasn't sure if it was the right song for her. A woman singing about promiscuity. Would she be judged or shamed for it? That title could easily be taken the wrong way. But in channeling confident female artists like TLC and Salt and Pepper, Nelly presented a strong female character on equal ground with Timbaland's swaggering male character. Together, they turned their raps into a horny back-and-forth routine. Sorry, Mum. Just two people on the pool. In an interview with Blender magazine, Nelly clarified that the song is not about sex, but verbal foreplay, saying, "Tim and I called it the Blackberry song because everything we say in the song, you could text message to somebody." Wait, did Nelly Furtado invent sliding into the DMs?
They're very much the guy and the girl using that word in a playful exchange. It's a dance song, though. It's definitely for, like most Timbaland beats, it's for shaking, it's for moving. And, it was something I hesitated to do at first, but then when I let myself do it, it was so fun that I couldn't deny how natural I sounded. It's just kind of rapping back and forth. Yeah. It's very easy for me to get in that little vibe. It was just a concept Tim came up with, and he sang the chorus, and quite honestly, it's the first song in 20 years of writing songs that I haven't written the lyrics for. I wrote a couple of lines, and it kind of makes it more fun in a way, because it's like this collaboration I did with Timbaland, and it's very much a club track. It's an unapologetic club song about hanging out and meeting somebody and talking about maybe what's gonna happen.
Maybe.
What ended up happening was Promiscuous becoming the song of the summer in 2006. Promiscuous took Nelly back to the top of the charts. She topped both the Hot 100 in the US and the Canadian singles chart for the first time ever. The song was ubiquitous, reaching the pop charts, dance charts, R&B and hip-hop charts, and even Latin charts. The music video was a big part of the song's success. Although it's a straightforward concept of two people in a club, the chemistry between Nelly and a newly fit Timbaland is straight up fire. And yes, that is Justin Timberlake making a cameo appearance for no reason whatsoever. Directed by Toronto's Little X, who now goes by Director X, the video made a conscious decision to show both sexy women and men dancing in the club. As Little X told Much Music on location for the video shoot, it was all about giving everyone some eye candy.
They're just, having fun with it. Two young people saying, hey, I'm all by myself. Why don't you come on over? Oh, give me some attention.
Hang out
with me, yeah.
We can hang out.
Let's talk. There's dancing. There's going to be a lot of dancing in this video. Okay. It's to represent the, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Directing a lot of hip-hop videos and that kind of stuff. I don't want to say booty girls. I'm not going to say that. But video girls who are dancing, we always have the stereotype of that. But in this video, you chose to include a lot of guy dancers.
Well, I chose, I guess this is because Nelly is female and Timbaland is male. So we got girls to look at for Tim, and then we got guys for Nelly. So
it only makes sense.
It only makes sense. So everyone will be happy.
Why leave out the fun for the ladies?
Exactly. I'm surprised, actually. I'm surprised no woman has made the response video after all these years.
The video for Promiscuous ruled the airwaves on both MTV and Much Music in the summer of 2006. Nelly and Timbaland performed the song at the 2006 Much Music Video Awards, and it was nominated for Best Dance, Best Pop, and Best Female Video that year at the MTV VMAs. Perhaps the video's greatest achievement, however, was in getting hilariously spoofed on Mad TV by Nicole Parker and a pre-famed Jordan Peele. Instead of Promiscuous, they called it Syphilis Girl. Here's a sample of the chorus. Hey, syphilis girl, tell me what the fuck. You left your mark all over my trunk. Hey, syphilis boy, better review. Did you get it from me or did I get it from you? It was a classic, I tell you. Nelly's third album, Loose. Sorry, how am I meant to follow that? Nelly's third album, Loose, arrived 2 months after Promiscuous and became the biggest release of her career. It produced 3 more hits, Maneater, Say It Right, and All Good Things Come to an End, thanks Chris, and sold more than 10 million copies, making it one of the highest-selling albums of the decade. Despite some criticism from the press about it, Nelly's sexy new image proved to be a gamble worth taking. She defended her evolution to Much Music.
The first album I was going, this is who I am. This is who I am. Can you hear me? This is who I am. And the second album I'm going, wait, who am I? Where do I come from? That's why I was exploring the folk and my Portuguese roots and everything. And then once I worked past that, I got to this place like on Loose where I'm feeling comfortable in my own skin. I'm feeling comfortable as a woman. I'm feeling more sensual. I'm feeling more happy about life. And so I'm just expressing that on the record. You just hear it. I just feel like I'm there for the party. I'm there to hang out and make good music. So, I love all 3, but as an artist, you have to keep growing. You have to keep challenging yourself and pushing yourself and going, where could I go next?
18 years after its release, Promiscuous is still finding new audiences. It got the highly coveted seal of approval from Gen Z, earning its own TikTok dance challenge, which is all about the tried and true teenage pastime of kissing your bestie. Not weird. And like any good hit of its time, it's become an essential add to any retro aughties playlist. According to the Nelly Furtado charts account on X, Promiscuous generated more than 6 million streams in the first week of 2024. After all these years, the song still knows what we want and it's got what we need. I'm Miles Galloway, and that was the story of Nelly Furtado's huge hit Promiscuous on Encore. And remember, did you get it from me or did I get it from you? I mean, new episodes every Thursday.
Encore is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Subscribe to this podcast on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. Download the iHeartRadio app for more great podcasts just like these.